My name is Keya Merah, and I'm a yoga teacher and health guide. And I found out about the Real You Self-Discovery Center through Tanya, Shahin's wife. She's a student of mine at one of my yoga classes and told me about how great this technique was that Shahin practices and how, he could really help me to transform my approach to my business. So the benefits of this program are evident. It's really a program to help you to reconnect to your spirit, yourself, your soul, to help you to figure out where it is in your life you're out of balance. And for most of us, there's a few areas. But it's a program that's able to be tailored to your needs. And I think that's what makes it special, and that's what makes it work, and that's what's making people sign up, in large numbers. It does involve a commitment, and I think for you to really receive the benefit in it, you want to commit, to the process that's involved in it. So in this process, this is about breaking down those limitations that we have physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then rebuilding. And so I started sessions with him, and it's been more than I've expected. Before I came in, I didn't have a real concept of how to look at business from a spiritual, and business and money from a spiritual perspective. And what I've experienced now is not only to have a visual, like a vision through the hypnotherapy and through the work with identifying what my core values are and identifying what gifts I have to bring as a teacher and as a guide. Now I have this whole picture, this whole map of a template of how to function and how, to grow not only as a person, but also in my business. And those are things that just weren't there. And so I feel not only do I have this new way of seeing things, but I have the tools to be able to move into this new concept of myself and this new concept of my business. So it really encompasses all areas, the physical body, the subtle body, and the emotional body. You have these goals that you think are just physical, and what you realize is that it's not. You have much more of a change happen when you address those three areas of your life, the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional. This program is the opportunity to grow in a more holistic way. Really feeling vibrant, really feeling, sometimes like, just that energy, moving through my body. Where you, oh my God, I meant to tell you too. Yeah. That meditation where you said to go, like you told me like I'd soon be visited by one of my guides, and you taught me how to go to a place in my mind that I can see them. There was this point in my hypnotherapy session where Shahin really helped me to prepare myself for meeting with my guides. And we had come to a place in the therapy where he could see that I was right there, but just needed the vision to have access to this guide. And I was picturing, myself meeting with my guide. And what he said was, find a place that feels organic for you. And I immediately went to these beautiful labyrinth gardens that have stairs that lead down, because that was an important part of his imagery, was to see yourself walking downstairs towards your guide. And it could be on the beach, it could be on the mountain, it could be anywhere. But for me, immediately the vision I had was walking down into this garden that exists. This is a real place for me in this labyrinth. And it's a spiritual place energetically because of the labyrinth being there and because of the work that they put into the place. So it was such a fitting visual for me that afterwards, every time I've gone into meditation, I find myself going down that stairwell and moving into the garden and moving into a specific chair that's at the garden that I'm waiting for my guide to come and join me in. And so each time I want to access that guide, that's the visual, that's the mental imagery that I go to, and I just find it so much more powerful. Like it feels, it feels like a strong, like a tangible almost. Like instead of like this, vastness. Sometimes when we meditate, we just see the vastness of everything, but having that physical place that has meaning for me makes it much more tangible and much more real. So I'm still waiting, for my guide to join me, but the place is there and in my mind, and that's big. The benefits of doing this program with Real You have been phenomenal. They have, on many levels, just changed my whole life and the way that I view things. And what's happened is, specifically with the hypnotherapy, for me, I was always a little resistant to hypnotherapy because I really just didn't know what it was. I just would imagine it was like TV where somebody swings a pendulum and back and forth and they say, follow, now you're getting sleepy, and you sort of fall over and then wake up and you don't know what happened. So there was a little fear there at first. I was like, what is this hypnotherapy? And so Shahin makes it very accessible for you. Just wherever you are, that's where he meets you. And I think that his approach is so much more holistic than, say, a typical hypnotherapist, because he's bringing his experience with Kabbalah and his experience with self-help, just in that whole world of self-help, like Tony Robbins and, the big names. He has so much to bring as far as, connecting the Eastern and Western approach to, like, healing yourself, that it really turns it into something that's quite an experience. And so for me, the imagery that he gave in our hypnotherapy sessions has stayed with me. There was a powerful imagery that he worked with me with to release attachments and to forgive those in my life that, needed to be released. Because we realized that there was a pattern, and there was some things and people that I was holding on to energetically that were stopping me from moving forward into this new map, this new life that we have created visually. And so I was able to, in these hypnotherapy sessions, have the tools to start to let go of these people and forgive them and forgive myself, and then invite them back in a new way. And that was powerful, and I've been using that, over and over. The first session, I knew that this was good. I knew that.
How did you know that?
I knew that this was the right thing for me, and that it was going to be helpful in a big way, because the very first session we identified all the things, all the gifts that I had to give within my practice as a yoga teacher, as an herbalist, as a health guide. We identified my internal gifts, how I would see that, and then how someone else would see that. And we also looked at some of the strengths and the gifts of people who I admire. And so from that session, I was able to sort of already expand my ceiling. I had this ceiling of what I thought I was capable of that then went away, because we were just sitting and talking about the gifts that I had to offer. And it's sort of like you get to see yourself in this new light that just, isn't, you don't always, at least not me, I don't always sit around and say, hey, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, or I have this gift or that gift. So just writing that stuff down, and then really thinking about the compliments that you receive for yourself, so being able to see how other people perceive your gifts, and then looking at those who you admire and what they're giving, it sort of just opens up this whole new realm of possibility for you and what your potential is. We did this with the tools that Shahin provided. Right, we charted. We use methods that you can walk away with. We were able to, write all of these out like in a journal. And I created a journal from everything that we were able to write out and list. so that it was something I could keep going back to. And I think the most powerful thing out of that session was a statement that we wrote out that encompassed and summarized all the listing that we had done in the journaling. We ended with a summarized, powerful statement of it was sort of an affirmation for yourself, and where you see yourself, as a healer, or as a business person, whatever it is, for me it was both. So it summarized all the work that we did, this statement. And I have it, with me. I keep it with me, and I look at it, and I say it, and I feel it, and that's what's important. I think the ideal client for Real You would be the person who is bubbling with possibility and has so much to give, but just hasn't figured out how to present themselves to the world. Just hasn't owned their value, and just needs that. They haven't owned their value, their self-worth, and just needs to be, reminded of who they actually are and what possibility there is for them based on what they already have. So it's really, I think the client, the ideal person, the best candidate for this program would be someone who has it all. They really have it all already, but just hasn't figured out how to put it out there. Anchoring. Yeah. That was deep. Like that, and I used that. I like that. That Shahin introduced, and it was a tool to anchor. It's called anchoring. And it's something that it made sense to me immediately. When he introduced it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I'll let him explain it in detail. But for me, what it did was it gave me a space to be able to use in my body, a place to be able to go to in my body to access this new programming that we were doing in our practice. And I was able to use it. I still use it. I love it. And it's just that added events, workshops, or going out to face some of your fears that we have to face as we're climbing up and growing. So I think being a yogi, being a yoga teacher, yoga practitioner for over 10 years, and for any other person in a healing modality, whether it's yoga, whether it's doing practitioner work with a religious foundation, or just whatever it is that you're doing that has spiritual components to it. People in leadership roles, I think, can really benefit from this process. For me, I felt the connection with Shahin and what he was doing immediately, right from the beginning. Almost any time that he suggested, imagery, or any time that he suggested techniques, as we've discussed, I felt it inside. Like it wasn't something I had to put any effort towards. It was something that was natural because it's already in me. It's already there. It's just that he was the guide to be able to show you how to access this energy that you're already, growing and sustaining within yourself. And I think it just has tremendous value for that person who, is already in a lifestyle of spirit, of meditation, of yoga, of, just some type of spiritual practice. It just, it takes it, what you have, and puts definition to it in a more meaningful way. So then you just fly with it.
Cool. Today, Zoom Video Productions is now dedicating countless media therapy productions that are sought after worldwide in a green-friendly fashion. We are improving the quality of life on our planet. Our latest CD release, Achieving Emotional Freedom Now and Forever, Hypnosis for the Bride, social confidence, peaceful dreaming and anxiety release and better birthing audio therapy, achieved countless awards for its healing-producing guided imagery and alpha music. For more info on our contribution to the world, visit irealself.com and get a featured guided imagery CD now as a gift.